Ja. Warte, ich hab's gerade angemacht, Tobi. Warte kurz. Noch kurz beenden. Was mir noch aufgefallen ist, ich höre dich ganz schlecht. Ist das hier richtig eingestellt mit den Speakern?
Was? Wie bitte?
Guck mal, ich habe vorher der Flavio mit mir gesprochen. Sind die Lautsprecher hier richtig eingestellt? Weil ich habe die anderen ganz leise gehört.
Ja.
Also volle Lautstärke, aber ganz leise. Also ich kann damit leben. Das ist schon okay. Okay.
Probieren wir das nochmal.
Zwölf Leute sind schon drin. Ich krieg schon wieder die Krise.
Wie bitte?
12 Leute haben wir schon drin.
Echt?
Ja. Haben sich da 120 angemeldet. Das heißt, 100 können eintreten und beim 101 kommt dann der Glas voll, oder? Ja. Ich bin gespannt.
Ja, dann müssen wir doch mal abgeben. Das ist das Indische. Ne?
Das ist Indisch, ja. Ich weiß natürlich nicht, wie viele sich jetzt tatsächlich eingeladen haben. Wir werden sehen.
Haben die noch alle angerufen, oder?
Das werde ich dir nachher fragen, ob sie das gemacht haben oder nicht. Wir werden es sehen. Scheiße. Ah!
Ich glaube, so ist besser. So, vielen Erfolg.
Vielen Dank.
Frau Maier, hören Sie mich?
Du mich?
Schlecht, aber
Nein? Warte.
noch kleiner konntest du dich nicht machen.
Nein.
Und ist die Schrift oben richtig bei mir?
Ich bin verkehrt. Faisal und Najma sind auch noch nicht drin.
So, jetzt soll das passen.
Als die Präsentation, nee, immer noch spiegelverkehrt.
Ja, kann ich nichts dafür. Ich kann es jetzt nicht ändern. Ich habe es schon gespiegelt. Bei mir zeigt es richtig an.
Machst du die Präsentation auf?
Ja, wenn du mir die Freigabe dafür erteilst, dann ja.
Dann. Hello, Mr. Firoz. Can you hear me? You're still on.
Yes, yes. How are you? Good afternoon.
Hello. We're filling the webinar, still a couple of more minutes until we will start. Okay?
No problem, no problem.
I think Faisal and Najma are also still missing. Here's Najma.
Hi. Hello.
Good day, everyone.
Is Faisal also joining, Najma?
Yeah, he's also joining.
Not logged in yet.
Yeah. Just a minute, I'll just.
For everybody who's logged in already, we will start in a couple of minutes. We're still expecting one more speaker.
Hi, Sascha. How are you?
Good day, sir. Fine. How about you?
All well, all well. Can you flip your background because it is coming the other way?
I tried it already, but then I would have to log out again. I tried it already to mirror it, so somehow it won't let me do it.
You can, I think you can go to your video icon.
I tried video icon, and then I said mirror it and unmirror it, but it doesn't. For me, it's the right way, and
Yeah,
I
but
did it before, and it was the wrong way.
Mirror, yeah. Anyways, we can make it save up to 50%
of your frying oil.
I can read it.
Everyone else should put a mirror behind himself so he can read it.
Maybe that's a new trick to make people read it on what it actually says.
Come again, Sina? You're hard to hear.
I was saying maybe that's the new way to make people read what's written.
Hey,
Hi, Najma.
attention.
Hi, Firoz. Hi,
You look.
Sascha. Thank you.
Perfect. I see quite a lot of people in here. Welcome everyone. Welcome everyone. For just in case, for those of you who are wondering why they couldn't speak, we keep it a little closed up for the beginning, which means we hold a presentation. We have later on a big Q&A section where we will answer all your questions. Feel free. There's also a button where you can type in your questions. We will come back to that later briefly.
Okay.
And yeah, there's Faisal. So we are all together. Perfect, perfect.
Perfect. Faisal, can you see and hear us? Okay. You're still, he's still on mute? Good, okay.
Okay.
I think
yes.
he's mute.
Not anymore.
No, you are getting my voice?
Yes, yes.
Okay,
yes.
thanks.
Perfect.
Perfect.
So we are all together. Just right on time. Hey, 2 minutes. That's considered nothing here. First of all, I would like to welcome each and every one of you. Thank you very much for joining us here today on our webinar about frying oil care made easy. We want to talk today a little bit about frying oil itself. What are the actual challenges we are facing? And we want to give you some tips and tricks how you can save money on frying oil, be a bit more economical in the market, be competitive again. It's tough, it's difficult. The times are different than it was before. Let's see when it will be the same. We are just here to help you. We will help you through these tough times. If you have questions, like I said, note them down, write them down, or put them in the Q&A section. You have the option here on Zoom. We will get to all those questions later on. Of course, before we start now, we would like to introduce ourselves to you, that you know who are you talking to, and therefore I would say I hand over to Sina so she can start right away with it.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much, Sascha. Also welcome everyone from my side to today's webinar in cooperation with Sascha in UAE and our partner Aaveg from India, and as a guest speaker, Mr. Firoz. My name is Sina and I'm working for VITO in Germany for almost 8 years now. I'm responsible with my team for the international key accounts at VITO, that's fast food chains and hotel chains, for example. We take care of the export sales in the Asia Pacific region, including India, which we're focusing on today. And I'm also doing product trainings on the frying oil testers, which we will also speak about in more detail later. I'm sitting here in the background, you see it in our head office in Tuttlingen in Germany, in the south of Germany, close to the Lake of Constance and close to the borders of Switzerland and Austria. VITO was founded in 2001 here in Tuttlingen, and since then we grew 4 additional subsidiaries, as you see it on the presentation. One in Hürth, which is close to Cologne, one in Chicago in the US, very big market for us, one in Italy, and the last and recent one in Dubai, in UAE. This is where Sascha is presenting from at the moment. VITO is the manufacturer of the VITO oil filter systems and the oil testers. You also see that here in my background. Here you see the VITO oil filter, and on the left side we already have the oil tester. We're specialized in frying oil management, and this is also what we're speaking about today. Currently, VITO is represented in over 150 countries, and we have over 40,000 customers worldwide benefiting from the VITO products on a daily basis. Having said that, one of the countries out of those 150 where we're present is India. Therefore, I would hand over to Ms. Najma and Mr. Faisal to introduce the company Aaveg and the business they're doing with VITO in India. And including that, we also have an introduction of Mr. Firoz. So I'm handing the word to Najma and Faisal now.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. I'm Najma, representing VITO oil filter machine in India. And we are basically looking after the distribution and the sales and service part of the VITO product line in India. Apart from that, we are also manufacturing the food process machines, which after me, Faisal will brief you, introduce you about it. But I am basically looking after the VITO product line in India. And I think that's all from me. I'm from Indore. It's in the central part of the India. And we are really looking forward to the webinar. So I think I'll pass on to Mr. Faisal now, and he will brief you about the about our company in detail. Yeah.
Hi, I am Faisal. I am Managing Director of Aaveg Technology Private Limited. And actually, we are dealing in food process machineries. And 2-3 years back, actually, we came in contact with this VITO company. That is their product. Actually, we saw in German everywhere. And we found that product, it is well suited for the Indian conditions because we are, basically, we love eating and the consumption of oil is very high. And then the problem with in India is we don't know about the how to use oil. So this is the machine that we wanted to introduce in India, and finally this VITO company, actually with collaboration VITO, we introduced 2-3 years back, and the machines is going well. I think Sina will tell about that machine and everything, and we are dealing in sense of food machine manufacturing. Please, Sina.
Perfect. So having said that, we still have, Faisal, a little bit of introduction for Mr. Firoz before we jump into the VITO oil filters and the tester. So Mr. Firoz, maybe you can also introduce yourself pretty quickly so people know who we are speaking with.
Yeah, hi everybody. I think most of the audience is from India, so I think I don't need much of introduction. All are very known names. I was just looking in the attendees list. So my name is Firoz Naqvi. I'm representing Federation of Sweets and Namkeen Manufacturers. This is the largest body in India dealing with the snacks and Indian ethnic snacks and sweets business. And we also try to keep on educating our members on various topics. So I rather feel it is very interesting subject today. You guys have picked up. I should have picked up earlier, but nevertheless, I mean, we are a team. So Najma and Faisal are good friends, and they have been, members of the federation also. So all known faces here. Thank you so much.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Mr. Firoz, for the introduction. With that, we're handing over to Sascha to introduce himself and the business in UAE. And I heard my microphone is not working too well, so I'm handing over to Sascha, and I'm checking the technical things on my hand. So please listen to Sascha, what he has to say.
You don't need to, but it would be nice. No, just kidding. Perfect. Once again, thank you very much, each and every one of you are attending here. I make it quick. I'm the one guy sitting here in the UAE. I'm the managing director of our UAE subsidiary. Originally, I'm a trained chef. So today, when I give you some insights, I talk more about the user and the guy actually on the fryer. What are the issues we are facing? And how we can help you with that. The company here, we reopened it in 2019. My first turn I had here 2012 till 2015. Then I had my brief time over in the US helping out over there. And then I just recently came back. We are specialized, we only do oil filtration and oil testing down here. We are the market leader here locally. And our target customers are hospitality and manufacturing industry. So not only hotels, restaurants, but also roasteries, sweet factories, stuff like this, where it's even more important to give you some insights and tools with it. Yeah, regional contact person. So in the GCC region, if you need anything, if you're here in Dubai, you want to know anything, feel free to contact me at any time. No problem with that. You're more than welcome to visit us here. I still got a nice office. Next year, they're building a high-rise tower besides me, but no problem. Quickly to mention, we are a 2-time Gulf Food Award winner, which represents how strong we are with our machine in our region. For over 20 years, we do nothing else. And with that, of course, we would start a little bit. So frying process and frying oil, I want to talk a little bit, what is frying itself? Everyone is doing it, everyone is using it, and of course, what we want to do with it, what is it exactly? Frying is a dehydration process, so to say. So you give the goods into the oil, is it raw, is it frozen, whatever it is. We bring the water out of the product, we get some oil into the product, we have a shell, so to say, of steam, which is around the product, wherefore we need a certain quality of the frying oil. Water is getting out, we're cooking the product, we have a browning, is it due to caramelization, is it due to the Maier reaction? It's a basic food preparation method, to put it that way. It's not unhealthy if you do it the right way. It's like all the other 14s that are there. Is it cooking, braising, whatever it is it steaming, is it boiling? It is just there, it's something we are used to, and yeah. You can get very nice products out of it if you follow just some simple rules, and it's tasty. Much too tasty, if you ask me, of course. To get the right amount of absorption, to get this right shell, to cook the product the right way, like I said, we need a certain level, what we call TPM, polymer material. We get into this in a second. So it's very important for us that we keep our frying oil at a certain range. And of course, what's also important as well is the different kind of frying oil we will find in the market. This always depends on where you are located, where you are based. There's peanut oil, there's corn oil, coconut, canola, there is sunflower, there is soy oil, so many different kinds of oil, and every oil behaves a little different when it comes to temperature, when it comes to lifetime, when it comes to our flavor profile, but they all got one thing in common. If you treat them the right way, you can get more out of it. And it's food. It's something we consume. Some people see it as something I'm just using like pots and pans to get the product out of it. No, frying oil is actually something we consume. We eat with each and every portion, so we have to be very, very careful how we use it, how long we use it, and how we determine the quality of the frying oil. With a good frying oil, the quality of my product stands and falls, so to say. If the oil is not good, no matter what I put in there, it will not come out nice, to put it in an easy way. And very important to keep track about the quality of your frying oil. And therefore, it's very important to understand which kind of influences we have on the frying oil and which are those influences we can actually affect. Of course, most important, there's the fried food, the stuff we get in there, whatever it is it sweets, is it onions, is it chicken, is it French fries, is it donuts in a bakery, whatever it is, fried food is one of the key elements going in, influencing the quality of my frying oil, decreasing the lifetime of my frying oil. On the other hand, we have the temperature, very important part, especially when you see the picture in the middle. How can you do a temperature control over there? Then it comes to terms, you need something to measure the temperature, you need to set the right temperature, and you need the right kind of oil to use in such kind of operation. I go in the details later on. If you have questions regards to that, no problem. For example, if you use a sunflower oil in such bowls, you can throw away the oil directly, the product you get out is not useful. I would recommend they're more using a long-term oil like a peanut oil, a soy oil, palm oil, something more heat stable. So what we can influence on like 80 to 90% is the fried food and the temperature we set on the fryer. This is very, very important. Come to that point later. Of course, we have water, we have oxygen, we have dust, we have light, all to a certain amount influencing the quality of the frying oil as well. Water comes through the product, water comes from the humidity, oxygen is all around us, we cannot avoid that, dust is falling in, no matter how clean you keep a kitchen, there's always dust floating around, and light is there as well. I mean, we all don't want to work in a dark place, even though the kitchen sometimes is the darkest place you can find. We try now to give you a little help, a little overview, how we can influence those points to make more out of your frying oil. We will advise you with some tools. We will present you some tools to get just more out of it. Be more economic in the use of your frying oil. save some money, of course, which is important in this time. And what is for me as a chef personally very important is to maintain a good quality of your fried product. It's not about decreasing the price or dropping one special after another. It's more about consistency and quality, a consistent, good product. The customer will value it, will come back. You have more customers, you have a higher satisfaction rate of your clients. So yeah, with that said, I think you all understood frying oil, the influences of frying oil, what we want to talk about. And therefore, of course, we start now with oil testing, determine the quality of frying oil. And therefore, I would hand over back to Sina.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Sascha. Maybe you can tell me quite quickly if the sound is better now.
For me a bit, yes.
A bit better.
Let's see what our guests are asking.
Okay. Then I speak as slowly as possible and as clear as possible for everybody to understand. Like you saw on the previous slides, frying oil is influenced by all different kinds of factors. Therefore, the oil is breaking down over time, like Sascha already said. It ages over time, and eventually it has to be changed at its lifetime. Of course, we want to find out in the kitchen or also in the factory, where we have a lot of them in India, where the oil is in its lifetime and when it has to be changed. There are different methods on how to determine that, which are shown on the slide that you see right now. On the left side, we see different sensorial methods, and on the right side, different technical methods, which we're introducing in more detail. To start with the sensorial methods on the left side, all of us, we can see the frying oil, all of us, we can smell the frying oil, and all of us, we can taste the frying oil. Now, based on how I see the frying oil, I may change the oil today, the way Sascha sees it today, or Najma, or Faisal, or Mr. Firoz see it, they may only change it tomorrow. So there is no consistency on when the oil has to be changed. There is no guarantee on when the point in time is reached, on when the oil is supposed to be changed. Now, to provide more security for the team in the kitchen, and also if needed for the guest, for the food quality, there are different technical methods to support the team in the kitchen with the determination of the frying oil quality. There are testing strips, like you see it on the left side, and on the other side, we also have the frying oil testers, which I would like to speak more about today. The frying oil testers, like you see them on the right side, two different kinds. They are digital measurement devices to check the frying oil quality. Now, of course, we would like to show you how the tester works. I have one, you see it in the background here behind me. We also have it on the next slide. And I also have one tester here. I'm not sure if you can see it from the distance, to be honest. So I'll describe it according to the picture that you see on the left side. We have the top part where you see the display. At the back, the tester can be opened. It runs on a battery that you can change yourself. Then we have this long stick, and at the very end we have the sensor, and this is the actual measurement sensor that you're sticking into the frying oil, like you see it on the picture. Important to note is that the oil should be above 50 degrees Celsius for the measurement. We usually recommend to measure at service temperature. A good point in time is if you do that every morning before service, so you have a consistent quality check every single day. The testers work on all different kinds of frying oils that are common in India, in the Middle East, but also where I'm based right now in Germany. Now, how does the measurement actually work? We have a video on that, which we would like to play for you, and I'll say a couple of words in order to make sure you understand how the measurement is working. Okay. So the tester comes in a little case, like you see there. This is for storage, basically, and also for transporting the tester. To take a measurement, you switch it on the on-off button. Then you stick it with the sensor into the frying oil, like you see it right now on the little picture. You stick it inside, you start steering the tester, start moving it in order to take a measurement. While the measurement is taken, the display is flashing. As soon as the display freezes, the measurement is done. You'll see that in a bit. The whole measurement takes around 15 seconds. And afterwards, you'll have your measurement result on the display like you see it right now. Perfect. Then we can go back to the presentation. Good. Important to note also for the measurement itself is you can test one fryer after the other, like you've seen it in the video. You check the first fryer, you clean the sensor, you can start immediately with the next fryer. Now, when the measurement is finished, like you saw it, we see those two numbers in the display, the upper big one and a lower small one, or that's pointed out by Sascha right now. The upper one is the quality indication, which is measured in percentage TPM, and the lower number is the temperature of the frying oil, which is measured in degrees Celsius. Total polar material, TPM, this is the number, that's the upper number that's displayed, that's the chemical breakdown of the frying oil, like I said. Depending on the quality and on that TPM number that's displayed at the top, there's a light coming up on the tester, like you see it in this example, which is either green, yellow, or red, like a traffic light. Green, yellow, everything good. Red stands for stop. In our case, time to change the frying oil. In the example, we have 5.5, it's green, 18, it's yellow, 24, we have it at red, time to change the oil. Now, it depends on the country where you're operating in, when the tester changes to red and when you have to change the oil in the end. Speaking of India, in our case, we have a regulation in place which says the oil has to be changed at 25% TPM. To give you an example from Germany, we have a regulation, it has to be changed at 24%. Sascha in UAE, they have a recommendation which says 28%. The 25% that are regulated in India were set in place in 2018, 2019 by the Food Safety and Standards Authority of India, shortly called FSSAI. And I would like to include Najma, Faisal, and also Mr. Firoz, all three of you, quickly into a little dialogue. And I would like to ask you two questions for that. My first question for the customers that we have listening right now is, why is the quality of frying oil such an important topic in India, in your opinion? And why should food businesses of any kind measure their oil quality in India? What's your opinion to that? Mr. Firoz, Faisal, Najma, if you can say a couple of words to that, please.
Should I start? I think I would be giving you,
sure,
bird eye view, then these guys can give some insights.
Sure.
So basically, India is a big market for edible oils. I think India is the second largest consumer in the world for edible oils after China. And second is not very far, where sometimes we are neck to neck. We are the biggest importer also, and we are one of the largest producer of edible oils in the world as well, especially coming from South America and Southeast Asia, palm oil and sunflower and things. So when we import a lot of oil and consume a lot of oil, it always requires frying and different ways of frying and different ways of consumption of oil. So that makes us a big consumer, and also leads to some malpractices, I would rather say, and sometimes kind of unawareness about not using the right techniques. So this led, earlier we did not have any serious law on it. So our government of India, via our FSSAI, which is the Authority for Food Safety and Standards, they came up with standards to not to allow beyond 25 limit for the edible oils, ppm. So that's how this came the daylight, and then people started following it, and then this gives opportunity for companies like you who can really help the people to understand what they are doing, whether they are using the right parameters or not. So this is the present status, and people are also getting more and more aware about their consumables, their food, their home cooked food in the house. If we see, it's a trend from many years. Ladies don't use used oil. Once it is used, they might throw it, but they will not cook it for their kids. So it has been there in the kitchen, but in the industry there has to be a lot of awareness about it, and FSSAI has already started doing it, and people have started following it, especially the larger companies who are more organized and more concerned about their food products and the quality of the product. So right people are doing right ways, and I think there's a big market for products like this. I think we can take this in the in upcoming questions. But yes, India needs these kind of things, and India needs real good cooking techniques and ingredients to make our food safe for the consumption. And we are doing perfectly, in this direction. And I'm very sure trend is already picked up very fast, and all the food processors, especially in our trade, which is called Indian ethnic, snacks, or we call it Namkeen or Farsan in India, they are already doing good, and there is a lot of room to expand in this direction. This is what I think. I hope I have justified what you said. Ask me.
Thank you very much. I would have a second question to that. You already mentioned the regulations that we have in place. Maybe you can go a little bit more in detail on that TPM regulation, on that 25% TPM. I mean, in Germany, we have 24, you have 25, goes into a similar direction. Do you have any background on why 25 and how that's implemented into businesses, how they deal with that? I mean, it was implemented first time in 2018-19, we're in 2020 now. But this is, of course, a process. How is that done, and why 25? If you can say a couple of words to that.
Well, I can't tell exactly why 25, but in India, when we start doing something, in various other parameters also, we make the benchmarks and we take the global view on that. Yeah. So usually, just to start with, we keep us, easier target to achieve, and then usually we then reduce it and then grow on it. So I think they might be having that idea to keep it 25. 25 sounds a little round also, so they might have taken that. But I'm sure that we can definitely debate on the benefits of 24, and we can present to the government with the help of Mr. Faisal Qureshi, and I can see a couple of more people in the audience who are really influencers in this direction. We have Mr. Daga, who is one of the very senior fellow in the industry right now in the audience, and I'm sure he's a very, he's an authority himself, advising us on day-to-day matters. And Mr. Mitesh Gandhi and many people who are the real influencers in the industry. We can always debate that why 24, why not 24, and why 25. But yes, people have started taking it seriously, and I hope we will always go better and better.
I'm sure, and from what I've read also through the research and what we have in the whole area, and going also outside of India, this is also proven by laboratories. We should be at around 24, 25. China, for example, you were mentioning them as the biggest consumer of cooking oils. They also have a law in place which says 25% TPM, so it all goes into this direction, 24, 25. This is proven, the oil is broken down, time to change it. And I think with what you said, it provides safety to the consumers and also makes it easier for the businesses to really follow the standards, and the tester can offer a good solution for that. Okay,
coming a little bit from a chef perspective, oil has a certain lifetime for it, and then at a certain point it just drops so dramatically where you don't get any quality anymore of the frying oil. And best guess is it goes vice versa with those 25, 24. So I think it's the best you can get out of lifetime from a frying oil and spending money on it.
I think actually we have to use less than 18 TPM value, because most of the big manufacturers actually they have a limit of 18, because the shelf life improves and the product quality also improves, and that helps in their business for the sale actually. So usually it's okay, it's a 25, but I think that would be the better we use less than 18 TPM.
That's the point what you see at the curve. You know, you have this green, you have this yellow, and you have this red on the curve. So at a certain point, of course, it's dropping down. And when you are in this yellow range, it's still good for human consumption. Maybe for a high quality product on a large scale, it's nothing more you want to use. But let's say with the guy around the corner, it shouldn't be any problem for him to use that then. I don't know why that's now showing. But okay.
Okay, don't worry. I think Faisal, I do agree with you, and I would, if you don't mind, continue with the presentation and the graph that Sascha already mentioned, green and yellow. Of course, the higher your quality standards and approaches are, and what kind of Firoz was mentioning Namkeen and sweets and big manufacturers. Of course, it's also an internal quality. What do you want to produce? What do you want to offer? What kind of products are you cooking? What kind of cooking oil? All these factors also play a role. Lower is always possible, but we have that upper limit in India of 25, and I think we all agree VITO can offer a good solution on that and can support businesses in following those standards. Now coming to that graph that we were already mentioning, you see here once again the traffic light system of green, yellow and red. In the beginning, green, we see quite pale products. This is where we have a very low range of oil quality of TPM. Then we have that optimal frying oil range in the very middle of green and yellow, and then we reach those Indian 25% TPM in our example. This is where the tester changes to red, time to change the oil, and you also don't get a good product quality out of your oil anymore. Now we're coming to the next slide where I would like to explain what TPM, sometimes in India also called TPC, which stands for Total Polar Components, stands, to give you a bit more of an overview on that. TPM means Total Polar Material, or TPC, Total Polar Components. It's the chemical breakdown of the oil, and I know there is a lot of knowledge around which chemical products develop when the oil is breaking down. There's acids in the oil, there's a race of free fatty acids in the oil, there is a race of ethanols in the oil, and so on and so forth, which is all correct. The benefit of TPM/TPC is that they make a summary out of all those components and factors, transfer it into one measurement parameter, one measurement number, which is displayed by the frying oil tester, that TPM indicator. Very easy to understand, very straightforward for the food authorities, for FSSAI, for the restaurant owners, for the operators, also for the team in the kitchen, and of course in the end also for the guest, for the food quality. Therefore, TPM summarizes all those different factors that you see in this house here, and gives one straightforward number plus that light on top that's understandable by everyone. Coming to the next slide, if you take a daily measurement, and when the food authorities, which is the case in India, are coming in, you would want a documentation on the measurements. Therefore, we provide a list, which we call HACCP list. You find it on the VITO website as a download document. There you can record the numbers that you're measuring with the tester. The quality in TPM, the temperature, but also if the oil was filtered, refilled, or if the frying oil was changed. This provides the most efficient oil usage in the end. Even if you have shift changes, the next shift can just take a look at the list and knows exactly when was the last measurement taken, when was the oil filtered, when was the oil changed, so you have a complete overview on that. To sum up, the usage of the frying oil testers. They provide the kitchen with the most efficient oil usage. You don't change the oil too early nor too late. You change it according to your quality standards for those businesses like Faisal mentioned. Plus you also fulfill the regulations by FSSAI in India. So you change the oil latest by 25% TPM. You maintain the quality of the fried products. We have a very easy measurement due to the traffic light system, green, yellow, and red, very straightforward. You can take a measurement of multiple fryers, one after the other. So one device for the entire kitchen, respectively the entire business. You can document the numbers according to HACCP, which also can be checked by the food authorities, and all different kinds of oils that are common can be measured. If we have very specific cases, the tester can even be adjusted to very specific kinds of frying oils if that's needed. Yeah, and with that knowledge and with the input that we got from Mr. Firoz and also Faisal and Najma, I would like to hand over to Sascha, who will give us more information about frying oil filtration solutions and more tips and tricks for frying oil care. Handing over to Sascha.
Thank you very much, Sina. So yeah, to summarize it, when I was working in the kitchen, we changed by color. Way too early, you have the caramelization, you have the Maier reaction. So you can not only set your own standards, you also can fulfill the requirements given to you by the government. And when we go back to the point again, what I talked before, water, oxidation, thermal, very important influences of frying oil, different kinds of chemical compounds exist on a different state. So not only measuring free fatty acids, but to get the whole picture, not a smaller part of the bigger picture, but we can get to that later. So now we talk a little bit about filtration, saving on filtration. I hope each and every one of you already filters or knows the benefit of a filtration system. A, you get a better quality of your fried food. B, the oil will last you longer, which means a drastically savings on money, better quality, more happy customers, more satisfied customers, better business. Different kinds of filtration. When I started working in the kitchen, we had the manual filtration, the good old sieve or whatever it is, colander. You go down there, you get a ladle, and then you have to push it through. Bit time consuming, bit dangerous, depending on the guy who's doing it, how good the outcome is. So, but at least you're doing something. Helps you already saving a bit on money, helps you to get a better quality. You got a clear fryer, you got a clean oil. Your products taste in general better. There are also built-in filtration systems on the market, depending on what kind of business you're running on a large scale, in a fabric, or on a smaller scale, like in a QSR, quick service restaurant chains like Burger King or stuff like that. Very convenient, very easy to use. You push a button, the oil will be going out for 10-15 minutes, the oil will be filtered with an added chemical. Yeah, you let it run for 10-15 minutes, the fryer fills up again, and you're operational again. Disadvantages, you have to shut down the fryer for a certain amount of time, and you have to use a chemical or additive on top to clean out your frying oil. While when we then take a look at a microfiltration, like we are doing it with VITO, we use a pure cellulose paper filter down to 5 microns and work with pressure or vacuum, depending on the systems you're using. Another benefit is you're still operational. The whole thing can happen on full frying temperature, so you don't need to shut down the operation. Depending how big your fryer, your wok, your bowl, wherever you're frying in is, you just move the machine to one side. Theoretically, you're still operational and can fry, can go on. It takes you 4.5 minutes. That's all you got to do. And by there, we filter out all the bitters, the sediments, giving you a better quality of your food. What is not in cannot burn. Therefore, it cannot harm. You got a longer lifetime of your frying oil. You be a bit more economical when it comes to that. You save a lot of money on the long run. So, and you get your customers happy and the guy on the fryer if you want to do so. So it's an additional benefit. So he actually will do it and will use the machine. And it's not about only those mobile and portable systems we also have a solution where we say, okay, we have a big vacuum system on scale from 45 to up to 120 liter. Just delivered one this morning to a nut roastery here. They have 120 liter fryer, fry up to 800 kg of nuts, coated, uncoated, stuff like this. So they were looking for a solution, not only how can we filter our oil, they were very aware of that, but also how can we store our oil, how can we move our oil, how can we transport our oil. That's an all-in-one solution. The difference between our system and the existing system in the market, as you see here on the picture, as soon as the oil gets sucked in on a vacuum, it will be filtered and the clean oil could be stored below here. So you already save then storage space and everything as well. Goes very fast, takes in 30 liter a minute, pumps back up to 60 liter a minute. The crumbs up here on top are nearly dry. You just switch a lever on the side, the oil will be pumped back. So it took me 5.5 minutes, we did some talking in between, to filter those 100 liter of frying oil. It was very easy, very convenient. And to give you a little idea of actually what is happening in there, you see, you put it in like a vacuum cleaner, you suck in the oil completely on a hot state, on frying temperature, no problem with that. You suck it out. I just skip a little bit through, so I mean, you get basically the idea of what the machine is doing. Therefore, it's already filtering. Everything is still operational. And then when you take a look at it on the top, you get nearly dry crumbs, so no oil goes to waste then. Normally, this would stay in there in the whole process. You would fry the whole day in it. You got this burnt bitter taste. It attaches to your food. Just make it look a little bit unappealing. So if we can avoid that, why shouldn't we do that? Those are the solutions we do. To tell you, no matter what you're doing, at least do something, you know, if you say, okay, I'm not that much into, I don't want to spend the money on it, do yourself a favor and say, we filter by colander, we filter by a sieve or anything like that. We can give you an easy solution to do it quicker, faster, on a much finer level, on a much better scale. And we guarantee you at least 30% savings. So no matter what you think about it, we can guarantee you a minimum of 30% savings, up to 50% without any problem. Okay, perfect. We talked about X, and there you see the different kinds of uses. So wherever there's hot oil, the machine can be used. You already see down here a little bit of the effect of the VITO. There will be no drastic color change. The oil gets a little bit lighter. Yes, you can see through again. The oil gets a bit lighter, a bit clearer. But making out of a used oil a fresh oil is chemically impossible. No one in this world can reverse the chemical decay of a frying oil. So sometimes we tend even to change our French fry oil to late because it still looks light, it still looks good, but it can even be worse than the dark oil beside it. This is why I tend to say, okay guys, get an oil testing device, take out the guesswork. On the mobile system, you get all the debris then here on top, you just throw it away. Also, both machines work down to 5 microns. Is it with a pressure filtration? Is it with a vacuum, patented vacuum filtration? We can help you save some serious money. Besides, like I said, I cannot say it often enough. For me as a chef, it's more important about the quality, about how can I be competitive in such a strong market where one competitor after another. It's about consistency and quality that makes the customer come back. It's not about decreasing the price, sending one special after another. Nowadays, I think the customer starts to value good quality, is ready to pay a good price for it, a reasonable price for a good quality. And if I can deliver this 24/7, 365 days a year, no problem with that. And he will even then spread the word. Now we talk, what is exactly, where is the point? Why should I use a filtration system? To put it a little bit into insight, we have the limits, we have the impurities of the oil, and of course the deterioration over time. So normally what would be wishful if customer changed here, in between the legal limit and when the maximum chemical breakdown is reached. what most of the time happens, you tend to change way too early, not when it needs to be done, but then when you think your oil looks dirty, it looks dark, it looks cloudy, it tastes bitter, there's a burnt taste on my product. This is most of the time where 90% of my clients used to change down here. And I guess with you, it's the same. You just throw it away. Like I said, we wish we could do it at the chemical breakdown. What VITO is doing is no witchcraft. It's no miracle or anything like that. What we do, we just put out all those debris, 99.9996% of all bitter, sediment, suspended particles, whatever you want to call it, we get out of the frying oil in a 5-minute process. What it means, the oil just takes longer to deteriorate, to break down on a chemical base. The oil will be clear, so you never change by particles anymore. Theoretically, you will use your oil for all eternity because it always looks nice. But there is still a chemical decay. And what we do, we slow this down. Once your oil has reached the level of 25, there is no need for a filtration, because after the filtration, it will be the same like before. You will not suddenly have an oil with 10% TPM or anything like that. Put it into numbers. We start the first day at 10, second day 20, third day 30% TPM. Now you start using a filtration system. On the first day, you still start with 10. On the next day, you got then 15, then you got 20, then you got 25, then you got 30. This is how we can extend the lifetime on a frying oil without any additives, without any chemicals, just by a pure filtration. Where the difference is, those other systems on the markets went down to 40 micron. We go down to 4 micron. To give you a little bit of idea, before filtration, after filtration. Just a simple product comparison. What do we get out of it before we filter our oil? What do we get for kind of product do we get after we filtered the oil? So I think this picture speaks a little bit for itself, which goals we all together can achieve. And to give you a little bit more about the view of an oil itself, what I mean, we don't change the color that much. You will see a light change. Like you see it on the left-hand side, the oil gets a bit lighter, it gets a little bit clearer and everything. While on the right-hand side, the oil which is not filtered still looks a bit dark, a bit cloudy and everything like that. What also most of you don't consider, the fryer most of the time stands at the darkest space in the kitchen. So if you put some light above it, it always looks already a little bit better than it does before. Just to give you an idea, why should we filter? Why should we invest in something? Because on the long run, it helps you and it pays back the money. I mean, when I was working in the kitchen, when I was buying kitchen equipment, everything under a year ROI was considered a no-brainer. To throw some numbers out there, as you see it here now on this foil, our machines in average pay back in under a year. Of course, you have to use them daily. That's the only disadvantage, but you get more out of it than you invest in it. It's about competition, be there in the market, being a market leader, being maybe a teacher for everyone else around us. Tell them, teach them, hey, see, this is what you can do. Don't waste your money. Our product tastes better. We want to export our products maybe worldwide. Be competitive. The other countries around are already doing it. Why shouldn't we do it? So raise a little bit of the awareness, do something, no matter how you filter, but think about filtering your frying oil. Your budget will say thank you. Your customer will say thank you. And I think we can provide you with the best solution available without, shutting down operation, dropping down anything. I'm rushing a little bit through. I think we will have a lot more to do in our Q&A section, and we are a little bit behind it. What I will now talk about is a little bit from operational side. So without any huge investment, how you already can save some money on frying oil. This is trainings I hold down here for chefs, up to chef de partie. Sometimes even the executive chefs need to freshen up his knowledge a little bit. We will talk a little bit what we can achieve if we follow some simple rules. It's the same like driving in your car, not always pedal to the metal. If I drive, let's say like with 100 km/h, I can longer distance and reach my goal more rested. Give you a little bit of perspective in that. Those are 12 rules, or if we are honest, there are 11 rules we can follow. Each point stays between 1 and 2% of savings, depending how much you fry. So if you follow 10 to them, you can save between 10 and 20% already by just following some basic simple rules. Let's talk about heating up the fryer correctly. If you have a fryer nice, it has a melt function, you put it to a melt function, you go to a lower level until all the oil is evenly heated through. Shortly before the service start, you go at 175, and then you set it at service temperature. If you go to 175 directly before, what will happen? You will burn the oil wherever the heat is coming from. In a fryer, it's from the burners, from the heaters. You burn it around it. It takes a longer time for everything to heat properly through. You're decreasing already the lifetime just by putting full power already on it. I know if you fry in a, what is it called? Kadai, when I'm not totally mistaken. If you're frying in a big bowl or anything like that, on a gas burner, it would be nice if you start with a lower temperature. If you say, okay, we have reached 100, 120, and then put it to full temperature. Helps you save some money, helps you a longer lifetime of your frying oil. The oil can heat evenly through, it's not burning on the outside and still cold on the inside like sometimes the product is. It takes a little adjustment, you know, it takes maybe 5 minutes more of your time, but then, okay, you start opening, you're coming in, you put it on a lower heat, you go do something else in between, which you would normally do afterwards or beforehand. And then once you go back to your fryer, you can turn it at full temperature and go in there. Think about it, measure the temperature, find a right setting for the temperature, whatever you use. If it's a gas handle on, off, you know, make a little mark on that. Don't turn the flame higher than this. So we always fry at the right temperature, as we know oil is very sensitive when it comes to that. Of course, we wish we try to use a dry product and shake off crumbs before frying. Yeah, very nice, very important point. Because where you see most of the time the guy operating on the fryer, as you see here, he has a handful of flour, a little bit of product in his hand, and he throws everything just into your frying oil. What's happening? You change frequently, you change much too early because all the stuff is burning in there, decreasing the lifetime, decreasing your quality. You got black spots on your fried food. You got a burnt, bitter taste of your fried food. Just by a simple adjustment where you say, okay, I get you a special tray beside it, put it one time over there, then get it into the fryer. By 2 seconds, you already can save 1 day of the lifetime of your frying oil, depending on how much you produce. So it's a simple SOP thing. I know I've been there when it needs to go fast, when we have a special operation, when we have a special going on. No one says anything if it can happen. But if it can happen from time to time, it tends to get a habit. And, you know, bad habits, hard to come by. So if we try to avoid it, I always try to say, come on, guys, you know it. Work a little bit more cleaner, get the stuff out. You make your life hard as well. You have to clean it. You have to throw it away. You have to clean the fryer then afterwards. So you make your life on the fryer as an operator easy as well, just by working a bit more cleaner. You know, take this 1 second, clap it off, then get it in there. So try to avoid bringing crumbs and everything, or even bags when you open a bag and then throw it in there. Don't do that. Try to avoid salt products before frying. Yeah. It's not only salt, it's flavoring in general, where we say, okay, the less spices we can bring into a fryer, the better it is. Wish thinking from someone in an office who has never stood on an actual fryer. Of course, those spices will influence the quality of your frying oil. They will influence the taste of your frying oil. Pepper tends to get bitter, so you never fry in a normal fryer something with pepper, because after that you can throw all the oil away. Fry somewhere separate, different, big bowl or whatever it is, with a small amount, as long as you're done. Wish thinking, if we can avoid it, yes, never salt your product beforehand. It would also get more water out of the product, less water in the product. We cannot create a shell around when we start frying. The more water we give into the frying oil, making it sludgy, making it deteriorate a little bit faster. So try to avoid salting the product, but at least we have to get some flavor into our product that we fry. So we cannot avoid it. Top up oil regularly to load level is good on a fryer. It's very important. We come back later when it's the same with 0.6 when we can talk about a little bit about the ratio and everything. Oops, where we were? Oh, it doesn't like me. The burner and the fryer are meant for a certain amount of frying oil. So you cannot overfill it and you cannot underfill it. What does that mean? If you underfill your fryer, what it tends to do, you're not saving any money because you say, hey, it's not so much to do. Let's put less oil in there. I use less oil. No, you change way too early. Those burners, those heaters in the fryer are built for a certain capacity of frying oil. Use it. Put it in between minimum and maximum. This amount of oil you maybe throw away every day. While if you say, okay, I fill it in between the lines, you can go 2 days with the frying oil, with the same oil. So, and you throw away every day 6 liters, instead every 2 days, 10 liters. Make the calculation on your own. Don't underfill it and also don't overfill it. The effect reverse, if you overfill it, if there's too much oil in there, the heaters cannot heat up the oil properly. If you hang the product in, it gets very soggy, the shell cannot be created, the reaction is slowed down, too much of the oil goes into the product no matter how long you fry. You can fry fries in an overfilled fryer for over half an hour, they will stay soggy, they will never get crispy and nice. So find the right ratio where you say, okay, this amount of oil for this temperature. This is why every fryer comes with an output, says, okay, we can get this much heat into our fryer over this amount of time. Fill it to the right level. Never underfill it, never overfill it. You will not win anything by that. It's built for the right amount of frying oil. For best results, use separate fryers for different sorts of product. Yeah, of course, a French fry, a starch product is harming your frying oil way less than it does a protein product. So we can double the lifetime easily with a starch product, while we say, okay, with protein, 30% in average and savings, or sometimes even more, can be achieved. Also, flavor transfer, what we cannot do, you cannot make out of a chili oil or a fish oil, you cannot make a plain oil again where you can fry something different. It just bounds to that. It just hangs together. Use different fryers for different products. If from time to time when it needs to go fast or it's just not possible, hey, no one will judge you, but think about it when you start opening a business or what kind of business you're running, if it were not better to consider a second fryer for other things just because of the flavor transfer. It really makes no sense unless you do only French fries or anything like that, that you can go with one fryer. 0.6, don't overload your frying basket. Yeah, this is what I was talking about with underfilling and overfilling. What is important there as well, the ratio is always 1 to 10. No matter in what you fry, how much you fry, where you fry, 1 to 10, which means 1 part of products to 10 part of oil. 1 kg in 10 liters of oil, 2 kg in 20 liters of oil. And this means in all the oil, in both baskets, in whatsoever, not more. Because of what will then, there we are at the point again, the heaters are built for a certain amount of oil, for a certain amount of food to keep the temperature on a certain level. If you overfill it with a frozen product or whatever it is, with another, it doesn't need to be frozen, but frozen is the best example. Temperature will decrease too much. The shell is not there, too much oil is going into your product. You waste the product you're actually frying, it goes to hell, you have to start all over again. You have not saved any time, it doesn't go any faster. The opposite is the effect. You have to start all over again. So no matter how you fry, what you fry, where you fry, 1 to 10 is the perfect ratio. If you're frying 50 liter, 5 kg at a time can go in there. Remove big crumbs by skimming the surface. Yes, of course, it's the easiest way. Get a skimmer. I cannot count how often I go into kitchens and I see this lonely French fry or whatever it is, you know, or onion or nut fry lying around there or floating around there on the top. Where you say, hey guys, seriously, get it out. It's burning in there. It's decreasing your lifetime. It's giving you a worse taste of your product. Just get it out instead of standing beside it and not knowing what to do, waiting for the boss to tell you what to do. Be active, be proactive, stand out, do something, skim out everything from the top. The rest the machine will do later on, you know. So in between, if you always have just 1 minute, you know. If you cannot get the machine in because it's busy, it's in the middle of service, it's in the middle of production or whatsoever, take a skimmer one time. It's not expensive. What is a skimmer? $1 or anything like that? So skimming in between is still necessary. It still needs to be a part. The more we can do on our own, the better it is. Point 8 is the same like point 3, but there we're talking about not flavoring the product after you fried it over your fryer. Have seen it when it sometimes happens. The batch comes out, it will be flavored with peppers, paprika powder, whatsoever, onion powder, cheese powder, directly over the fryer. No advantage. Everything falls into the oil. It burns. It gives you a bad taste. No one is helped by that. So get your SOP straight where you say, okay, put a bowl beside, put a tray beside where you get the basket and make it, you know, make it a habit, make it every day, get it out, put it over there, flavor it, shake it one time, send it out to the service. Saves your lifetime. Like I said, everything we're talking about is increasing your quality, maintaining a high quality, save you some money, give you better quality, keeping the customers happy, less changing, less labor, less workload, win, win, win. Each and every one of you saves something. You save money as the owner of the business. The customer gets a better quality of his fried food, is happy and comes back again. The operator on the fryer wins, less workload, less cleaning, less changing the frying oil. He's happy, he has time to do something else, or maybe can even leave on time. So you never know. Everyone gets part of it. Temperature control is very, very important. So while not using the fryer, turn down the temperature. We always have those times where we say, we're talking about restaurant hospitality business. For production is not that much important, more about restaurants and hospitality. When you're not using the fryer, it doesn't need to be put on full temperature. It's the same like you put the AC out when you leave the room and no one will go into that room for the next 2 hours or 3 hours. Conserve what you have, be conservative, save money, save labor, get a better quality. It's also very important what you use at highest temperature. We recommend not going higher at 175. Always depending, of course, what you're doing, what kind of oil you're using. Some products, some chefs want to use a higher temperature like 190, 195, but then I say, okay, don't even think about using a sunflower oil. Then you need a very heat stable oil where we go in the range of a peanut oil, in the range of a soy oil, of a palm soy blend, whatever it is, or palm sunflower blend. Some oils can be treated differently than others. Some are very heat resistant. Some can take a beating, while others you have to be very careful, but give you a nice finishing touch on the end of the product. There's even starting to be a regulation in place all over Europe where they recommend for starch products not going above 150 degrees Celsius because of acrylamide, a chemical compound which starts occurring if you fry a product at a higher temperature than 150. So make sure you use the right oil for the right product, for the right usage, for the right operation. And set your temperature straight. Try it at least. I know it can be a little bit tricky, a little bit different and difficult, especially if you don't have a fryer. But therefore, then you have thermometers, you have the oil tester, which gives you the guarantee and measures the quality and the temperature. So alone by temperature control, you already can save a lot of money. It's exponential. If you go 5 degrees higher, the oil decays 12 to 13% faster, you know, just by going 5 degrees above what we recommend or what you can do by it. Keep your temperature at a good level. Those 5 seconds, 10 seconds, it takes longer for the customer to wait. It is what it is. Therefore, he gets a better quality. It's for you to decide what it's more worth, getting the product fast out or having a good quality and the customer coming back. Filter your oil after every service, yes, or after every batch, or we will figure out after how many batches. Then we sit together and see, okay, 800 kg of nuts, this and this much oil is going into the product, this and this much we have to refill, this and this amount of time we have. this and this amount of time we need, it's applicable, we find an SOP together. We not let you stand there alone, we sit with you together and say, okay, this is the point where you have to filter, and why do you have to filter? Very easy. So we talk about a normal operation, normal day, one fryer, 20 liter, this is all day long burning in your fryer. No matter what you do, if you do chicken, if you do French fries, if you do onion rings, no matter what you fry, this is in there. It's burning all the time, it's decreasing your lifetime, it's attaching to your food, it's you get this burnt bitter taste of your product, you get this awful nasty heartburn. Get rid of it at least once a day, at least in the evening, you know, when you're done, make it your operational. Okay, at the end of the day, we need to filter the oil. For example, in Germany, it's a law. You have to filter every day, no matter how much you fry it, you have to filter your oil. Down here, it's more of a recommendation thing and raising awareness and say, hey, wouldn't it be better if? No one wants to eat that. Sure, and it looks nasty and it looks gross. But it will happen. We have to give the fried product to the customer. He wants to have his food. So it is there, but we can do something against it to avoid it. More or less easy, more or less affordable, no matter what you want to do. If you want to go do it the right way, I think that's why we're here, to show you a little bit what we can do on that. Cover your oil to prevent oxidation. Yeah, keep it away from air and light. Cover your oil, cover your fryer. This is why, for example, with the X units, when we talk about production facilities, when you talk about big businesses, industrial size frying, where we say, okay, you can store the oil in the machine instead of a pale white container where it is again, you know, with all the air, light, storage space. You keep the dust from falling into your fryer. I don't know how the situation is with you, but down here, I never have seen a lid for a fryer. I don't know why that is, but it's very uncommon. In Germany, I see it all the time, or have seen it all the time. It's very common that when you, before you go out, you turn off the fryer, you start cleaning the kitchen, and the last thing, when you go out, you cover the fryer up for the next day so nothing falls in there and the oil just lasts longer. If you don't have the possibility, just look, it's not a plastic container, just keep it away from light and air, where you say, okay, I cannot cover this huge ass fryer or whatever I got over here. So keep your oil away from light and air. Keep records of your filtration and changes. Keep them also, please, close to the fryer, not somewhere in the back office or anything like that. Keep them, those operation procedures, for everyone visible. It gets a mantra. They see it each and every day. It gets into their blood, so to say. They see it, they do it, they remember themselves. Oh yeah, I can do this, I can do that, I can do this. And instead of standing around, helps you. The customer even can see it. Hey, what are those guys doing? They're following some rules. They're doing something for me. Can honor it. You can even market it for your customer, where you say, hey, see, we are actually proactive, doing something for your health and everything like that. So keep it close to the fryer. Keep it where everyone can see it, especially your staff. It will help them to get over in flesh and blood that they can actually do it every day. Give you a little bit of idea, like I said, about all those rules of frying, where we say follow each and every one, gives you some savings. You have to get to the Q&A. I have to speed up a little bit. We have an increased lifetime of your frying oil. When we filter, we have an improved quality and taste of your fried goods. Once again, be competitive in such a strong market. Why should the customer buy with me and not by my competitor? Because I deliver all day long the same and best quality he will ever find in the market. We can help you achieve that. So it's fast, easy, and safe. If you decide to go with us, we can keep track of the usages of the machine. It takes you only up to 5 minutes. Okay, with the bigger ones, it takes maybe a little bit longer, but then we talk about 100, 200 liter of frying oil or anything like that, and that's filtered in 8 minutes. I still consider it fast. Less cleaning effort, less daily cleaning of your fryer, less labor, less disposal. You save on the long run on this as well. I know in some countries labor is cheap, but in this time he can do something else as I pay him anyway. So why should I waste him sitting there under a fryer, cleaning my fryer? Instead he can chop, prep, or do something else, or even I let him go home so he comes happy back because he has more of his wife. I don't know. Up to you what you decide to do with that. And of course, active environmental protection. Agricultural space gets more and more limited. And by proactive filtration, you actually can do something. You can even reduce your carbon footprint by doing it. Here we come to the marketing side as well. For me, it's a very important part. I want my kid to see how a tree looks like and not show him in a book. This used to be a tree. What you don't need in frying oil doesn't need to be transported, needs to be harvested, cropped, carried around, need to be shipped in. For me, example, here in UAE, over the 90% of the stuff here we get into the country by ship, by boat, whatever it is, you know. So if we can reduce our carbon footprint by saving money and getting a better quality of the product just by filtering, why shouldn't we do it, in my opinion? You know, it's something really to consider where you say, okay, for the next generation, we're actually doing something. Space is limited for each and every one of us. So if we can do something, you see, in 5 years, if we only talk about a VITO 50, our medium machine for 20-liter fryers, you can save 2,700 kilograms of CO2. And your purse is happy because those 2,700 kilograms converts to a lot of oil, which you didn't buy, which you didn't spend your money on. Converts to a lot of more happy customers, which coming each and every day to you, eating your food, buying your products, whatever it is. I leave it there. For me, it's a bit more important than for others. So what I would say, we go to the Q&A section. I see the red button on top always flashing up. I know I'm talking a lot, I'm talking too much. So I would hand back over now to Najma, Faisal, and Mr. Firoz to answer all your questions. Sina, if you would be so kind, I have to quickly take a look at something.
No problem. Thank you very much, Sascha. I will take over from here. I think we heard a lot about all different kinds of solutions and ideas. And we also have a couple of questions already. We will do it this way. I will read them out and I will leave it to Najma, Faisal, and Mr. Firoz to answer them. And Sascha and I will add if we have anything in addition to mention. So if you're ready, I would start asking the first question, which says, why is the quality of the oil deteriorated after 25% TPM? Please explain. Maybe we can recap that once again, the three of you, Najma, Faisal, and Firoz. Why 25? Why is it deteriorated then?
I think Sascha will help in this answer, because he knows actually why 25 TPM is, I mean, more than 25 TPM is not suitable for the frying. The reason is already told by Sascha. There are certain impurities developed in the oil that is not good for the health. So I think Sascha can help more, particularly in technical aspect of this.
Mm-hmm. So Sascha, Faisal was just referring back to you for the oil quality. Why 25? Why is it deteriorated then? What kind of, what's the reason behind that? If you can recap that.
Yeah, sure. The real reason no one understands worldwide, to be quite honest with you, it's all, everyone is hiding a bit behind it. From a chef's perspective, it's the point where you have gotten the most lifetime and the best quality out of your product, where the process, so to say, reverses. On the chemical side, of course, it's then considered no more usable for human consumption. This is when you sell it to anyone who makes soap, whatever cosmetics out of it, or you even in some countries use it to heat up your home. Or you use it in your old diesel car, works as well, no problem, as it's so fine filtered. Chemically, it's not, it's considered no more good for human consumption, because then we have a lot of particles, a lot of polar compounds, aldehydes, ketones, acrylamides, and stuff like this in there. We all know on the long run what those products can, how those products can harm us, and what will occur if we eat too much of those products. So, and you get no more quality out of the fryer as a chef. You put it in there, it starts foaming, it starts smoking, the product is bitter, it's shallow on the inside, and you only have an empty shell on the outside because too much oil is going in. This water shell is no more around the product. Too much, wie sagt man aushöhlen? It makes it shallow, the product. Too much oil goes in there. you get no more quality out of it. So it's 2 points. On one point, we say, okay, you get no more quality out of it. It's wasted. You have to change it anyway. On the other hand, they say, okay, this is the maximum amount which we trust our people could consume. We have countries that are not as harsh as Germany and India. We have countries, they say, okay, 27, or we even have countries, they say, okay, we don't care at all. But other tend to care more about the population and say, okay, we want a healthy, futureful population. And so we say 25 is the maximum level to go there.
Perfect. Thank you very much. We would continue directly with the next question. Can only cooking oils be checked with the TPM tester? Can we check all oils like sesame oil, almond oil, coconut oil? My first question to the three of you would be, because I find it also interesting for the listeners that we still have, what's the most common oils that are used in India at this stage? What do you come across most?
Actually, in India, particularly for the Namkeen and all, palm oil is the most useful oil in particular this industry. Others also we are using in areas like in South, they use coconut oil, but in most of the time they use palm oil. It is good for the, for the frying, for the shelf life. That's why they use palm oil.
Okay, so to answer that question, palm oil, coconut oil, almond oil, sesame oil, anything that you can heat up, anything that you can use for cooking can be measured with the frying oil tester. Like I said during the presentation, the oil has to have 50 degrees Celsius to take a measurement, otherwise it's too cold for the tester. But if it's above 50 degrees, yes, you can take a measurement. Okay,
you can also measure beef tallow, lard, whatever it is, so as long as it's liquid and at 50 degrees, yes.
Correct.
Sascha, I think the parameters of the TPM value may be different for different oils. What do you think?
The starting values, yes, the starting values, it's even with the same oil and a different producer different. What you can do with this as well, if you're a global operator and you make it on a large scale buying oil, you can always assure how good is the quality of the oil I'm getting from my from the guy who's selling me. So while we say, for example, if we start with sunflower canola oil at a very low level, we tend to start with a peanut oil, a soy oil, a palm oil at a very high level, considered between 8 and 10, even sometimes above. But it takes those oils longer to go to the 25. And of course, it always depends on how good is the oil refinery working, where I get my oil from. So are they really do they have some issues? Do they have some problems? Do I always get the same quality of my frying oil? This is something you then can check with an oil tester as well.
One more thing that I have seen in this FT440, there are 5 programming for different oils. It is fixed in particular.
Yeah, you can. We have an offset setting where you. Sina, please, it's your field.
So,
sorry.
No problem. Faisal, you're right. There are different settings on this black and yellow tester that we introduced earlier. If, like what Sascha said, there's a huge customer on a bigger scale, like Burger King is a customer of ours for the tester, for example, the tester can be adjusted to the frying oil that the customer is using to have an even more accurate result. Anything else is according to standard frying oils, but if there is a huge number on a very specific kind of oil, the start value can be defined. The way the TPM number is raising and the way the oil is breaking down can also be programmed into the tester, so it's even more accurate for those particular kinds of frying oils. So if needed, yes, it can be adjusted to different kinds of frying oils and to also different chain customers, basically. This is how I would summarize it. Okay, coming to the next questions, because our questions are increasing. Can TPM be used as the only parameter to assess frying oil quality? What does FFA, free fatty acids, have to do with that? Are they also required to be analyzed? Heading over to our team in India, how do you come across free fatty acids? Maybe you can say a couple of words to that.
Yeah, actually, Sina, yeah, TPM is basically it's an instant reckoner to assess the frying oil quality. Whereas if somebody wants to get the oil tested in a laboratory, maybe they can in deep they can go for this FFA and PV to get it tested in a laboratory. That's a longer process. But if somebody wants to know the quality of the oil at that point, then TPM is the correct parameter to measure the oil at the time. It doesn't waste time. It's just in 15 seconds you get the result. So this can be used as an indicator now to check the quality of the oil. Right.
Perfect. I don't have anything to add to that. Would come right to the next question. How does sediment in oil affect quality and life of the frying oils? Handing over to the team to answer. Did you hear?
Yeah.
Okay.
What sedimentation means the increasing the carbon particles in the oil.
Yes.
Definitely, actually, this carbon particle actually helping the deterioration of oil, that TPM value. It helps in increasing the TPM value. If we remove continuously by doing filtration regular interval, so definitely we remove the carbons and other residues from the oil. That will help in increasing the quality of oil.
Correct.
And I think Sascha also can explain something about that.
Yeah, sure. I mean, what is not, put it very brutally easy, what is not in your oil cannot harm. Therefore, the oil lasts longer. I know there's a cooling zone in the fryer. If you have a fryer, if you don't have a fryer, it's actually burning all the time. So it's even more important to get the stuff out. It's constantly in temperature. It's constantly harming. It's constantly in there. It's like you leave the product you fry for all the time you use it in there, and just add new product, and it's burning. By removing it, those sediments, those bitters, better quality, better taste, longer lifetime.
I think the sedimentation also, I mean, increasing the burning of the oil, because when you see the oil minutely, you can see the burning is outside the surface of that sedimentation, and it helps in burning of oil at earlier, I mean, as early as possible.
Let me see. I think I got somewhere something like that. This is always some tests I try to do with some customer of mine. On the left-hand side, you see an unfiltered oil. On the right-hand side, you see a filtered oil. I think it speaks for itself. You have those sediments, those black spots, those burnt, bitter things attaching to your fried food. Now, of course, it's zoomed in. On the right-hand side, it's like it should be. This is what gives you the difference. This is how you can make a difference in the market, where you say, see, now you nearly don't see it, but you will taste it. This is why sometimes you ask yourself, hey, what is the guy next corner doing differently from me? Why is the customer not coming back to me? This is something where you say, when you filter your frying oil on a regular base, better taste, better quality, better product, longer lifetime. Get this stuff out, please.
Perfect. Thank you very much for answering that question. Coming to the next one. That was also redirected to Sascha. Maybe everybody else can also add what they have to add. If the frying oil parameters are polar value 20 per kg, FFA 0.5, TPM is more than 25. If I use the VITO filtration system, how would the following values change for the frying oil? Will the soap content in the oil reduce, and by how much %? So benefit of VITO for measuring the oil quality. If you can say something to that, please.
Should I?
Yes, you start, please.
Okay, perfect. You can measure directly after the filtration. The value will be higher. You can measure half an hour later, like you should be, because you are not allowed to measure in a, so to say, stressed oil. Oil needs to be rested, needs to be calm, depending on how many oil you're using. It needs a certain amount of time. The value 1 in a million, it will be slightly below, but 99% of the time, it will be the same as before. with an oil filtration system, you maintain the quality of the frying oil and you slow down the chemical decay of your oil by using it each and every day. If I could reverse this process, I would have my own company, my own island, and I wouldn't be here with you because I would be slurping some cocktails. No one can reverse the chemical decay of a frying oil. Like I said, in 1 of a million cases, it can get slightly better, but most of the time not. This is what I try to explain. On the first day, you have 10. On the second day, you have 20. On the third day, you have 30. It is like this because we fry all day. Now, on the first day, you still have 10. You start now using a filtration system. Then on the second day, you have 15. Then you use the filter again. Then you have 20. You use the filter again, 25. You use the filter again, and then you are at 30. You slow down the chemical decay, less particles in there. Like we saw before, it's not only about the sediment and everything, it's about water, it's about oxidation, it's about a thermal reaction which is going on. Those different points are still there and influencing the quality and lifetime of our frying oil to a certain amount. The more we keep it in the balance and in the level, the less they harm the oil, but they will harm the oil. So you have to change.
Perfect. Good. Thank you very much for answering that question. We have one customer who needs a savings chart. Thank you for the email address. I just copied that and we will send that to you. Coming to the next question, how many months can the products be used? Now, I speak for VITO in Germany now, where we were, as you saw in the beginning, founded in 2001. We have still products that were sold in 2001 in usage. So in theory, 19 years for testers and for filters. Aaveg is active in India since, help me, Faisal and Najma, since when?
Since 2018.
2018.
Yeah.
First 2.5 years now. 2 years without breakdowns there. In case there's servicing, maybe Najma and Faisal can say something to that. They're local there and they'll be available for that.
Yeah, of course, Sina. We are looking after the VITO service part here in India, and whatever issue comes and anything comes till now, there is no issue in the VITO machine. We have not received any complaint till now. And but in future, or if anything goes wrong, then of course we are here to help you, to provide you support. We have engineers, we can send them to your place, or if you have some, you can also send your machine or test or anything to us, and we'll rectify it. So you need not to worry about the service part from us. And of course, in India, we normally see the fluctuations in electricity. So if any of the fuse or something goes off in the machine, then of course we are there to assist you and help you. And this is what from my end.
Perfect. Good.
Actually, on machine part, we have not seen any malfunction. It is the actually since it's very good and technical. I mean, technically very sound machine. So if we educate user properly, so if they are using it in a proper manner, so we don't need to get any chance of failure.
Yes.
Good. I think this is important for customers to know. Support is there. Now I have a question which maybe Mr. Firoz can say something to that, especially on what's going on with the Namkeen and sweets industry. What happens if we fry our products at higher temperature, effects on oil and product? Now we were speaking about the recommendations, respectively regulations on the oil quality. Is there anything that you know of in terms of oil temperature in that industry? Mr. Firoz, did you hear me?
Can you explain the question again?
Yes. So the question was, what happens if we fry our products at higher temperature? Effects on oil and the products. And I wanted to find out, we have those regulations on oil quality, if there is also anything in place for the temperature for that specifically Namkeen and sweets industry, and what Mr. Firoz was speaking about earlier. Anything similar to that in India?
Actually, the frying temperature that I know is something around 170 to 180 degrees centigrade. Whenever we increase the temperature of the frying oil, definitely it deteriorate the product quality actually, and the color of the product and the quality. So, as Sascha already told, the temperature is very important in the frying. It should not be less than that. It should not be more than that.
No, I agree. Mr. Firoz, do you have anything to add to that?
I think Faisal is absolutely right. Temperature, mostly it is around 175 centigrades. And if suppose they have any apprehensions, there could be some R&D on that. And then we can reply based on the results if at all it is required.
It's the same. It's basically the same in Germany and also in most other countries. 175 is recommended.
We don't see anything more than 180 degrees centigrade.
Yeah, that's enough. I think anything can be cooked in that.
Okay.
Lucky you.
Okay, good. Thank you for answering that. Next question. Can we use the filtration device for clarified butter, ghee, and should we filter the oil after every use? Ghee, something very specific for India. Handing over to the team in India for answering, please.
Yeah, actually, of course, we can use the filtration machine for the butter ghee, because when ghee is in melting form, it clears all the particles, impurities from the oil. And once it is cleared, then that ghee, of course, it brings better quality product. And secondly, if you are using the filter machine at regular intervals, then definitely as soon as you remove the particles, the product quality will be improved. And plus, it is good for human consumption. That's what I say. You want to add, Faisal?
Yeah. Actually, the frying temperature of the ghee is less than this other oil. Actually, it is something around 100 plus. Where it is usually the frying product in butter or it's something around 100 120 degrees centigrade temperature, and butter is not considered by the FCCI as the TPM value and all. They don't mention the TPM value for the butter and all.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
the quality is also, I have never seen the quality of ghee after frying, but it helps in the filtration because it removes the carbon particles or residue, whatever is coming during the frying. So it definitely helps cleaning of that, this filtration, cleaning of that, all the residues and particles.
Okay.
I love ghee. If I could, I would cook everything in there. And I don't know how it is with you, but here it's really, really expensive. So butter ghee is a very high price product.
Yes,
But
in India also.
Still,
are fond of
we
that.
do have processors who are making namkeens in ghee, and there are sold premium namkeens. So it is being used not vastly, but there is a significant percentage in India.
Even in Haldiram, we are using our machine in ghee fryers. They are making the sweets in this butter ghee, and our machines working there. This XM model.
Money printer.
Very good. Okay. Coming to the next question, what is the shelf life and the cost of the filter? Handing over to Team India.
We have analysis in India actually. We have so many times this question arises, and we done one analysis at one big at Haldiram, right? In fact, we were doing analysis on the Bhakarwadi. You know that Bhakarwadi product in India. This is the besan product. In fact, what happened there, when we use one paper for I think for 4 kadhai 3 times in a day, I almost 12 frying we have done. We did actually 12 frying filtration, and after that we found it one paper was okay for that, and the residue something around 13 kg. The leftover, the residue after filtration 12 times, we found 13 kg residue, and one paper is okay for that. This is our actually analysis, but it depends on the product to product.
Also, I would like to add, we also had this case study at KFC, and there also they were using two fryers. One they were putting the chemical, the magnesol, and other we had using our VITO mobile machine. And when we did the filtration, the TPM value drastically, it came to somewhere reduced to 3.5 values. And where the magnesol was used, the value came down to approx 3. So like they were very much surprised to see that how simply the mechanical filtration is increasing the shelf life of the oil. And of course, you all know that chemicals, they are not good for human consumption. So this all happened with us.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much for those impressions. Next question, what is the equipment life of VITO 80? Does the equipment life affect the filtration? Sascha, maybe you can start with that.
Yeah.
From a sales perspective, it's very bad because our machines last nearly a lifetime. I have machines running here for over 11 years. But jokes aside, I have very happy and satisfied customers that way. I have here machines. We are meanwhile at generation 3 and 4. So I have even generation 1 machines down here still running with the same level, same effectiveness, never been in my repair facility. Yeah, the benefit I got from is free food and a happy customer I can rely on. So, but yeah, it's an investment. I like to compare it sometimes to those old Mercedes, you know, unfortunately they didn't build them anymore. Those cars were built for a lifetime, or those old BMWs, you know, no matter what you did to them, they were still running. The same is it with the VITO oil filter system.
Perfect, good. Thank you very much for that. We have 5 to 8 more minutes in order to answer questions, and we're getting more and more. The next one is, if we are not using fryers, can we also use this filter system with burners? I guess this customer is referring to the traditional Indian kadai. Faisal, Najma, Mr. Firoz, maybe you can explain a little bit how VITO is used in India, what kind of different setups, also traditional setups are around, also seen on the pictures, please.
Absolutely. Actually, we can use this machine any fryer, either a kadhai, we can say in India it's a kadhai, circular fryer, or rectangular fryer. We can use this machine. We have already done it so many places. It's working well. Nothing, wrong with that.
Perfect. Good. Mr. Firoz, maybe out of interest also for the listeners in the namkeen and sweets industry, do you mainly use the traditional kadais there, or do you have the standard deep fryers in use, or both?
Traditionals have been still, they are still in heavy, vastly used in India.
Okay.
But switching over to modern fryers quite quickly. And in namkeen, I think most of them have already switched. But for sweets, because batches are smaller, so traditional fryers are used. So, but as far as this product is concerned, whether it is traditional or the modern one, your product is constant. They can be used anywhere in any of the applications.
Perfect. Good. Saying universal product, also a universal tester, to come to the next question, which I would take over. If we can also measure ghee with the frying oil testers, and the answer to that is yes. You heard about the filtration already. Measurement is also possible. Next question, what is the main difference between the FT440 and the VITO oil tester? I have both testers actually here. I don't know if you can see it over the distance. The black and yellow one is the FT440, and then we have the other one, the white oil tester here, which is the VITO oil tester. Both are available in India. Both measure the oil quality. The main difference is design, obviously. One is white, the other one is black and yellow. The sensor is pretty much the same, so they operate in the same way. Both measure oil quality and temperature. The handling is a bit different, as one looks more like a pistol, the other one is more a stick. The FT, like I said, the black and yellow one, is more adjustable to different kinds of frying oils, and the sensor is a little bit more robust. So for heavy usage kitchens, like in India, like in the industry, like in big manufacturing facilities, that sensor is a bit better protected. But in the end, they do the same thing. They look a bit different. That's the main differences.
Apple or Android?
Sure, Apple or Android, correct. Yeah. Okay. One question in regards to the filtration material. What is the filtering material used in the VITO filtration system?
This is a cellulose particle filter, actually food grade cellulose particle filter. It has a capacity it filters up to 5 micron actually. Whatever more than 5 micron, it stops filtering. So it's a cellulose paper actually.
And apart from that, it also has itself is the portable machines. They have the SS filters in there. So
there are SS filters inside that machine. There are SS filters also.
Good. One very interesting question that I picked out now in regards to the VITO mobile systems. I hope we can benefit from the knowledge we have in India generated so far. Can the VITO system be used in a continuous frying setup where the scale of operation is about 500 kg oil of frying and about 200 to 300 oil is used bad at the end of the day? Can the VITO XL machine be used in this quantity of oil? Najma and Faisal, if you can say something about the mobile systems and setups to 300 kg of oil.
I think we have used it. Definitely this mobile machine is suitable for the batch fryers, but not for the continuous fryer, because continuous fryers the capacity is more than 400-500 liters. They can use it in evening time, not in during the processing time, because it's very difficult to use. For the circular or rectangular fryer capacity more than 300, so we can use 4 times, 3 times. I mean, they have a cycle, 5-minute cycle actually. We can use 4 times, 4 cycles we can use, and we can filter 300 up to 300, like 120 liters. We can use 3 cycles, and we can clear 360 liters of oil. But in case of continuous fryer, because it has a capacity more than 400-500 liters, it's a little bit difficult, not possible in 2-3 days, 2 or 3 times in a day. It is only possible in evening time.
Yeah, basically they have to stop the work and then in the end, they can filter the oil in twice, thrice.
Not possible in the working hours, because they don't want to stop their process and clear the oil and then again fill the tank. It is not possible.
Okay.
In continuous fire particularly.
Yeah. Okay, but generally it is, if you put it properly into the operations process after work, there's always a solution to benefit of the VITO mobile systems.
They can do it only once in a day. After the closing of the time in evening, they can do that filtration, keep that oil at some other place, and then again use in the next day, because that will help them. Because the filtration of the continuous fry is not up to that level, not up to 5 micron. They actually fill their day tank or reserve tank for night, and then again they will use tomorrow morning. If they filter it with our filtration system and use some means, I mean storage kind of thing they've used, and they do filtration after evening time, I mean after working hours, they can they can save the quality of oil tomorrow, because there is some smell coming. That definitely reduce if they filter with the help of our filtration and store in the storage tank.
Perfect. Good, thank you very much. I'm choosing 2 more questions. I've seen there are a couple of questions in regards to pricing and in regards to the filter paper. So we will do a follow-up after the webinar, just for the listeners that are hearing this right now. So you will get a certificate that you joined the webinar, and there will also be a follow-up call. Respectively, you will get the information that we spoke about today, and then we can also answer your questions in terms of pricing, in terms of savings, and anything more specific. So 2 more questions for the general public to answer for now. The first one is there any special maintenance or cleaning procedure for VITO 80 or generally the VITO portable systems?
I think Sascha will explain you better.
Yeah, I think Sascha should explain this.
Sure.
Okay.
Put it in a dishwasher. No, the best dishwasher is this ones. So once you change the filter paper lasts you on the portable machines between 8 to 12 filtration, depending on what you're doing. Once no more oil is coming out, you discard of the filter paper. It's biodegradable, so it can go with the food waste. You soak the machine for 10 minutes, then you just rinse it out, wash it off, let it dry, put in a fresh filter, and you're good to go. What you also could do, if you want to, you can boil it out in hot water. You can use some grease cutter, heavy detergent, whatever. Or like I said, put it in the dishwasher, whatever is convenient. Those parts in contact with the frying oil can be sanitized, cleaned more than thoroughly. It's stainless steel.
Perfect. Thank you very much for that. And I'm asking the last question now, which is also a question that was asked several times about calibration. When does the calibration of the VITO oil tester, when is the calibration of the VITO oil tester needed? If you can say a couple of words to that, Najma and Faisal. Also, Mr. Firoz, if you have any experiences with that, how do we handle this in India? I have a tester, I want it calibrated, what do I do?
See, basically, Sina, the calibration of VITO TPM meters, generally, it is not required when you start using it. Normally, it requires in a year's time what we have experienced it. And if somebody really needs to get their VITO, this meters calibrated, we of course ask them to send us and we calibrate them and then we send them back. Or else if they want to do it themselves, they can do it by using the reference oil and they can calibrate their testers. So unless the readings change or differ, you no need to do the calibration of the meters. Yeah.
Perfect. Good. Then I would leave it to that. Like I said, there will be a follow-up on any other open questions still left. I think the main questions were answered for now. Everybody will get a certificate. Everybody will get a follow-up call and follow-up information. We have here our thank you slide, as we would like you all to thank you for your attention. Also, Mr. Firoz, as our guest speaker, thank you very much for joining and answering the questions in relation to the industry. Faisal and Najma, thank you for joining, for representing India today. Sascha, thank you for joining and bringing in your knowledge from the hospitality industry and from the Middle East in general. We have here now our contact information from VITO in Germany. That's myself. In the middle, we have Sascha from the Middle East, and on the right side we have the contact information from Najma as a representation of VITO in India. Feel free to take a screenshot or picture of those contact information, WhatsApp numbers. You can also, our listeners, you can also get in touch directly with us for follow-up if you have any more specific questions. Having said that, we would close the session for today. Want to thank you all for joining and for listening. We hope we got the information across. And other than that, we look forward to seeing you in our next VITO webinar, which hopefully will take place soon for India. Thank you.
Also, thank you all of you for wonderful knowledge to all the manufacturers in India. We had a good attendance today, and I hope this is part of it. This will continue in future with more updates on the usage and some practical knowledge sometime maybe online. And I would also take this opportunity to invite you next year in India for our convention, which will take place next year in 2021, hopefully, that everything comes to normal. And after Food Tech in Germany, we are planning to do it in April. So we would send you a separate invitation. and hope we'll see Sascha and Sina and team along with Najma and Faisal, who are already there. You know, they are the regular and they are the founder members of the event. So let's see you next time in India soon.
Thank you very much. Thank
Hopefully.
you.
I only come if there is free sampling.
You will love to. In that case, our show is wonderful. You will have,
I will never leave.
bag full of namkeens and sweets.
Sounds very good. Thank you very much.
Appreciate. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Perfect.
Mr. Firoz.
Thank you, Najma, and thank you to our listeners. We're closing the webinar, and we hope to see you next time.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Very much.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye bye. Thank you.
Bye.